Hello. All right, so I'm going to be talking about the 10 concepts that I learned in class this semester. So this class is about kind of like the 8 ways of like lean manufacturing and the, organizational. I'm sorry, that was my dog. Augie, get down. The topics. I'm so sorry. All right, so the 8 ways of lean, I'm going to begin with talking about that first. The 8 ways of lean are overproduction, inventory, motion, transportation, extra processing, waiting, defects, and talent. So the reason why I picked this is like my first topic because I didn't even know there was lean and like waste in manufacturing plants or anything like that. I didn't think of the supply chain and the manufacturing in that way, per se. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So the next topic I'll be talking about is the fishbone diagram. And that's going to involve machine, methods, materials, Mother Nature, manpower, and measurements. And then they have like a little diagram that literally looks like a fishbone. And those 3 bones that they would say are machines, method, and materials, and the effect goes at the last of it. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, fishbone? Why are they saying fishbone? But yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So the next one is, I thought the process of like redesign was actually really interesting. And so those 5 steps are remove, reduce, replace, reorder, and redeploy. And I thought the redeploy was interesting because that was like literally like, that's like what they call like the process step. So I just thought that was a really interesting concept. So the 4th one that I will be talking about was a big one in our class this semester, and that was the 5S method. And this is a training tool for people to learn standards and make people reliable. So the first one is sort, and this is separate what you need from what you do not need. And the second one is set in order. Organize the work area. So, and honestly, that can be applicable to anyone, really, who's trying to work in whatever environment. The 3rd one is shine. Clean out and find what is dirty so it can be corrected. And I almost didn't think about that in terms of, I didn't think about that in like terms of like everyday life either, or even in a manufacturing plant. All right, so the next one is standardize. You can create process standards, work standards, and Gemba standards. And this can also be applicable to everyday life too, and especially in a manufacturing plant. The 5th one is sustain me, which means, sustain, I'm sorry. I said sustain and you make it a habit. That's what that means. Okay, so the next terms that I found pretty interesting are changeover. And that one I already knew beforehand. But I thought cycle time was really interesting. And I found this one really interesting because like this is products moving in a single like time flow, and that's like in a single line, like a single assembly line, and there's only one singular product. So like that can be applied in a lot of like automotive plants too. The 7th one that I found interesting was the 5 whys. And I thought that the Toyota scientific method was really, really interesting for that, because that basically said to like, this is how you can get a hold of like the root problem, you know. The 9th one I found interesting was flow, and this was having a lot to do with like a lot of like raw materials, and I thought that was pretty cool because for this one there's not a lot of raw materials talked about in like HR, so I thought that was pretty cool. The next one I found interesting was the principles of lean. I'm so sorry. My dog is like crazy. The next one I found interesting was principles of lean. And then the last one I thought was super interesting was the spaghetti diagram. I thought that was so cool because I literally applied it in the assignment to toast. And like, I just thought it was cool. So yeah, there we go.